Alright, so right here we have Laura's, her 2015 GSX-R 600, and we're going to be pulling off the bullshittery that is this awful can. Now I've looked at the directions much to my discretion, and it actually looks relatively simple, but anytime that I say that, it never is. So got to pull off the tank because there's a servo underneath the tank for the exhaust flaps, I guess, from what I was able to read. I guess there's probably like an exhaust flap on this thing, which means we got to pull off the seat, and then we got to pull off the fairings, loosen the transmission bolt, and then pull off the exhaust. So we're gonna try that. What the hell is this, Suzuki? You use Velcro to hold on plastics? What? This is from the factory. That is janky, but it works. Right up. Okay. Unless you might not actually have it now that I think about it.
Like there's the remnants from the balloons.
Oh yeah. I don't see anything that resembles a servo. It should be right on top too, that's the thing. This, to connect the two plastics together on each side.
Oh, they have like a bra strap.
Yeah, it's like a bra. That's actually really nice because every other time the fairings are just completely independent of each other and they flop around, but that's actually really nice. I like that. I like that. I hope more bikes do that. One connector up there. So I was wrong. It does have a servo. So, it's got like a clutch kit that goes all the way. All right, so now we have the gas tank off because we had to, because the servo is right there. Of course, you guys can't see it. This is the servo right there, which has got like a clutch cable. Do we take the whole servo out or just the cable? I probably want to keep the servo in there, just take the cable out. So remove the servo wheel from the servo so the little cables can come undone. And I'm going to pull the cables out and pull it through the whole bike, but I'm going to put the servo back in just because I don't want to throw any codes. It might throw a code on the ECU if we just pull out the whole servo. So we'll just leave it there. It's literally doing nothing other than just spinning this wheel for no reason. According to my calculations, this should just pull through the engine now, if I can. Neat. They come all the way through and they just dangle off of here. The servo turns this little valve right here as she accelerates. There's a little exhaust flap in here that increases the sound and back pressure, or decreases back pressure and increases sound as she accelerates. So technically, this is probably either for emissions or to give you just a little bit more oomph down low. I don't really know. Japanese bikes are weird. But we need to disconnect the O2 sensor, move the radiator forward a little bit by disassembling, taking off the radiator bolt down here. It's right there. And then that'll give us more room to play with. Yeah, at this point we just rip this thing out. This bike looks like nothing when it's broken down. Like it just looks so simple.
It really does. I was just standing back there thinking about how cool it looked. Like,
it looks really kind of neat, doesn't it? Like Mad Maxi-ish.
Yeah.
You want to see what your exhaust sounds like without the exhaust on it?
Yes. Yes, I do.
It should have enough. It should have enough fuel in the injectors to get it started. I hope. I was hoping there'd be enough in the injectors to get like one little boom. If this is a carbureted bike, it would start right up and stay running for probably 5 minutes. I can drive almost a mile without the exhaust on, or without the gas tank on it. So Laura was telling me about how you can't lower this bike anymore because it'll hit the coffin, and 100% you're right. If you lower this little thing anymore, which is one of the lowering links right here, it'll actually hit the coffin. So they weren't bullshitting. All right, so now just pulling out the radiator bolt here. From everything I've read, you don't have to pull the radiator to get to the hoses, to get to the exhaust. I really hope that's true. These hoses don't exactly look like they have a lot of playroom, but we've gotten all the head bolts loose, which were extremely inconvenient. The last thing that should be this one bolt right here. And then the whole exhaust should be able to fall down. This is like a full two brothers exhaust, right?
Yes.
And they're nice enough to separate the mid pipe from the actual headers, which will be really nice because all we have to do is install these, and I believe it'll be a little bit easier going on. Look how clever this is. Two bros knew this was gonna be a pain in the butt, so they just went ahead and put rubber bands on it so they keep them in place. All right, so got the new headers on. That wasn't totally miserable. So hard part's done. Hard part's done. Now it's just reassembling. And also Laura's out here washing the DRZ from the Minnesota trip while I do this. This particular exhaust has a bung hole, already pre-made for the O2 sensor. So here's a trick. When it comes to doing these, since the O2 sensor is on a cord, and if you continue to turn it, it'll have tension on the actual cable. So what you want to do is you want to pre-turn it probably about 10 times. 10 solid turns in your hand to where it's nice and turned, so that way when you screw it into the actual bung, it'll relieve all that twisted tension. So you have to worry about putting pressure on the actual cable. See? Perfect. Just give it a good solid tighten. You also don't want to forget your hose clamp right here. And then this mount is actually going to go behind the original mount right here. So it's going to go behind here. You want the prong to go behind that. And then this should just go right on like that. Everything lines up. And you can move your hose clamp over and tighten that sumbitch down nice and tight. And then the last step is to apply the actual clamp around the base. Now Two Bros use this double clamp system. Essentially, you just kind of clamp it in place, and I'm not a huge fan of it, but it works great, so I can't really complain. I don't really know what the other alternative is, to be honest. I just always thought this was kind of weird. Now, just gotta put all the shit back. Starts right up. How's it sound?
Sounds good.
All right, now she is all back together with minimal parts missing. That sounds good. Dropped a good bit of weight too with that. So, yeah. Probably 10 pounds altogether. This is a Two Bros Black Edition. That's like a custom cut too, because we like basically mix match the exhaust. That's a custom one-off exhaust technically, I think. Now you can also get these, either the Jake the Garden Snake edition, or like the Sub D edition, or the Baker X Dildo edition. You can get all those custom editions that Two Bros has to offer, where it's got like their little nameplate on it. So if you want to go support some of the other local moto vloggers, that'd be cool. Now we do the DRZ, which is going to take literally 8 seconds. All right, so now that we got Laura's done, time to do the DRZ, because it's literally just a can. We just swap the can on. There's no mid pipe on these. I was asking them about it. It's like the actual pipe on these are so unrestricted that there's no point. The only thing you should replace is this. So I'm just gonna replace that part. I think just remove the bolts over here, and then it should just pop right off. Lord, thank you, Jesus, I was wrong. There actually is kind of like a mid pipe that I'm assuming disconnects from right where that guard is. You remove this, pull the clamp off, bolt there, bolt there. This should be completely I wondered how that'll sound. I bet that's stupid loud. See if we can even get it turned over. It's been a couple days.
Is that yours?
Yeah.
Oh, it's done?
No.
Oh.
It's straight header right now. Yeah, no, let's never do that again. That's terrible for your valves. There we go. Basically, you just use this compression ring right there, and it compresses it on, and there's no leaks supposedly. Get the new exhaust on the DRZ. Looks about the same size as the OEM one. Oh, shit. I wasn't expecting that. I am very happy with mine. Laura, what about yours?
Mine sounds awesome.
You know what? All things considered, like the amount of work put into Laura's bike made her bike sound absolutely phenomenal. So when I saw the size of the Two Bros can, I was concerned because it's big. It's large, right, for an aftermarket exhaust. I mean, you look at the OEM one. The OEM one's huge. And you look at the aftermarket one, it's almost the exact same size, so I expected it to not be anywhere near as loud as it is. I'm incredibly impressed. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Absolutely shocked at how well these two bikes sound with just simple exhaust. Now, I believe you don't need to retune, but we're gonna put a Power Commander 5 and have it reflashed and see if we can't squeeze a couple more horsepower out of Laura's bike. The last thing we gotta do to the DRZ is the carburetor. So now we have an exhaust. The carburetor, they said, adds like, you go with the FRC 39mm carburetor, and it makes this bike an absolute incredibly different bike to ride, like a 10, 20 horsepower difference or something ridiculous. You correct me in the comments, but the carburetor is the last thing on the list for this bike, and then I'm pretty happy with the build. I should probably put some mirrors back on it. Like, looking down the list, we've got crankcase covers, the knobbies, which I will keep as a second set. I think I'm gonna go back to street tires in the meantime very soon, and then have two sets. Seat Concepts aftermarket lower seat for my short ass. Zeta bark busters, so if I drop it, it doesn't fuck the clutch and brake levers. But I also have ASV brake and clutch levers, so they can get propped in, it's not a big deal. Then a KLX, I believe that's a KLX aftermarket headlight. Flush mount blinkers right here and right here. Ignore the wrap job. It went through hell and back in Minnesota, and I'm the one who did it, not ACW, so don't worry about that. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take out the headlight assembly from here and put an LED square bulb in there, because that at night sucks balls. So yeah, carburetor's left, and that's it. I think I'll be very happy with this bike after that point. But yeah, and the aftermarket taillight. Whew. All right, see you guys next time.